Have you ever felt like the harder you try, the further you get from your goal? This is the great paradox of our lives. We live in a culture that worships effort. We are told that if we want something, we must chase it. We must grind. We must struggle. No pain, no gain, right? But have you ever noticed that the most important things in life behave differently? Try to force someone to love you, and they will run away. Try to force a creative idea, and your mind goes blank. Try to force yourself to be happy, and you will become miserable. The harder you try to sleep, the more awake you become. The more you demand relaxation, the more tense your muscles get. The philosopher Alan Watts called this the backwards law. Here is the brutal truth. The desire for a positive experience is itself a negative experience. Why? Because when you are desperate for something, your brain focuses on the lack of it. By constantly saying, "I need to be confident," you are really telling yourself, "I am insecure." By constantly trying to be rich, you are reinforcing the feeling that you are poor. It's like quicksand. The more you struggle, the faster you sink. How do we stop sinking? To find the answer, we have to go back 2,500 years to ancient China. The Taoists discovered a concept that sounds completely insane to our modern ears. They called it Wu Wei. Be careful. Wu Wei is often translated as non-action or doing nothing. But that is a terrible translation. If you just sit on the couch and eat potato chips, that is not Wu Wei. Wu Wei actually means effortless action, or action without friction. Think of water. When a river meets a rock, it doesn't scream. It doesn't get stressed. It doesn't attend a seminar on how to crush rocks. It simply flows around it. It uses gravity. It finds the path of least resistance. And yes, over time, that soft water cuts through the hard stone. Water never tries. It just is. In our lives, we are usually the guy rowing upstream. We fight the current. We try to force outcomes that we cannot control. Wu Wei is the art of raising the sail. You are still moving. You are still steering. But the power comes from something bigger than your own muscles. There is an old Taoist story about an archer. When the archer shoots for fun, he has all his skill. He is relaxed. He hits the bullseye. But if you offer him a belt of gold as a prize, suddenly he goes blind. He starts to think about the prize, not the shot. He worries about winning. He worries about losing. His skill hasn't changed, but his trying has ruined him. He cares too much. And because he cares too much, his hands shake. Sound familiar? That's you in a job interview. That's you on a first date. The stakes make you clumsy. You might think this is just mystical philosophy, but modern neuroscience backs it up. Today, we call this state flow. When a jazz musician plays a solo or a pro athlete catches a ball, they aren't thinking, "Okay, move left foot, extend arm, catch now." No, if they thought about it, they would miss. In a state of flow, the part of your brain responsible for self-monitoring, the prefrontal cortex, actually quiets down. The inner critic shuts up. You aren't trying to do the activity. You become the activity. The dancer becomes the dance. The writer becomes the words. There is no you left to be anxious. There is only the action. This is the scientific definition of Wu Wei. It is maximum skill with zero friction. So, how do we apply this? How do we stop trying so hard in a world that demands results? Imagine your mind is a glass of muddy water. When you are anxious, you try to fix it. You stir the water. You try to push the mud down. But the more you stir, the cloudier it gets. The only way to clear muddy water is to leave it alone. Let it settle. This is the first step. Wait. When you feel chaos, don't act immediately. Don't force a solution. Give things room to breathe. Second, detach from the outcome. The archer missed because he was obsessed with the gold. You mess up the date because you are obsessed with making them like you. Focus on the shooting, not the prize. Focus on the conversation, not the relationship status. When you stop needing the result, you are free to perform at your best. And finally, accept what is. Suffering comes from arguing with reality. I shouldn't be tired. I shouldn't be sad. I should be richer by now. This creates friction. Wu Wei says, okay, I'm tired. I will rest. Okay, I'm sad. I will feel this sadness. When you stop fighting your own feelings, they lose their power over you. You float on top of them instead of drowning in them. Life is not a problem to be solved. We are so afraid of letting go of the steering wheel. We think that if we stop trying, we will crash. But look at nature. The grass doesn't try to grow. The birds don't try to fly. The planets don't try to spin. And yet, everything gets done. You are part of that same nature. Sometimes, the most productive action is complete trust in life. Accept the present exactly as it is. Open yourself to this moment. Let reality unfold on its own. Just be. If this video helped you find a moment of calm, consider subscribing. Just so